This past weekend, I ran my first half marathon. Now, the big catch here was that I signed up for it a week before the race, and that prior to this half marathon, the longest run I'd ever done was 6 miles, and that was way back in 2023. Now, this was purely just a challenge to myself to see if I could do it. The race happened to be held at the park right down the road where I do most of my runs at. So, other than leaving the kids to my wife for the morning, to me, there really seemed no reason not to do it. And I told her that I was confident I could do it in under 2 hours. She thought I was crazy. She completely doubted me. So that gave me even more fuel to, one, not only complete the race, but two, to also do it in under 2 hours. I was pretty confident I was going to hit sub-2 easily, but my stretch goal for the race was to hit sub-150. I came in just a little bit over that, but overall, I'm very happy with my performance. Now, I wanted to share 2 tips that I believe helped me hit this time in my first half marathon, especially because I do not consider myself a runner. In fact, I only started running again this year at the end of August after taking an entire year off after my first 5K last September. The first tip would be to start slow. Back in 2023, when I first started running, I was running anywhere from 10 to 11 minutes per mile. And in my head, it felt like I was running really slow because I was comparing myself to the mile times that I used to run growing up in school for the physical fitness test, which was around 8 minutes per mile. But it's one thing to basically do an all-out sprint for 1 mile. It's another thing entirely to run for a 5K or 3 miles. It makes sense that you're going to have to slow down a little bit to be able to run all of those 3 miles. So if you're new to running and you're new to running longer distances like I was, which I would have considered anything past a mile because that's all I was ever forced to run growing up, dial it back and take it slower than you need to, or I should say slower than you think you need to. Build a base, build up the physical and mental reps of running multiple miles at once, and slowly increase your pace over time. My second tip is to strength train. I can't tell you how much I believe this benefited me during the race. It wasn't a walk in the park, but it also wasn't nearly as hard as I expected it to be. And that's because I've done hard days in the gym. I've done harder Metcon style workouts like the armor building complex, where you're both lifting heavy weights and sustaining a really high heart rate throughout the entire workout. And when you've put the reps in the gym with hard workouts like this, you've prepared yourself physically and mentally to be able to push through the suck even if you haven't specifically trained for this type of event. Because right now, I actually think a heavy 30-round armor building complex doing it every minute on the minute is more mentally daunting to me than it would be to run another half. Now, I definitely could have pushed myself a bit more during the race, and I'm sure if I did, it would have felt harder and it would have been harder. But I also didn't want to get too crazy because everything for me after mile 6 was completely uncharted territory, and I really didn't want to just be crawling across the finish line. But during the race, there was no doubt in my mind that my hard gym sessions helped prepare me for the moment. I just got into a flow, took it mile by mile, and did a half marathon, which is something I never thought I would ever do at the start of my fitness journey. And through all this, I've learned that running is actually fun. When I first started, it was purely just to make myself do something that I didn't want to do, something that I was forced to do growing up that I absolutely hated. Last year, it slowly transitioned to being a more tolerable form of cardio that I actually kind of enjoy doing to keep me in shape. But now I can safely say that running is something I actually enjoy doing and will continue doing for the rest of my life.